Hi guys, Jessica Beck here with IELTS Energy TV. In this episode, you are going to hear me interview a real IELTS student, Ronaldo, who got an overall 8 on his computer-delivered IELTS test. Guys, he got an 8.5 in reading and listening and a 7.5 in speaking and writing. Before 3 Keys IELTS, he was stuck at a 6.5 for writing. So guys, not only did he get amazing scores, but he increased his writing score by a whole band point. So if you want to get the highest scores on the computer-delivered test, listen up today to find out how. And guys, remember, you can get your free estimated IELTS band score right now, today, on the computer. Go to allearsenglish.com/IELTS quiz. Take a short quiz, get your IELTS score, and then free resources for that score. allearsenglish.com/IELTS quiz. This is an IELTS Energy Podcast, episode 717, Ronaldo's Tips for Overall 8 on Computer-Delivered IELTS.
You are listening to the IELTS Energy Podcast from All Ears English. We believe in connection, not perfection, and we're here to show you how to get the score that you need on your next IELTS exam. Find out why our strategies are the most powerful in the IELTS world and get your free video masterclass at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. Now, let's get to the show.
Today, you'll meet 3 Keys student Ronaldo and find out the best strategies for scoring an overall 8 and increasing your writing score to a 7.5. Hello, IELTS Energy listeners. We have a surprise guest today. I say surprise because Ronaldo is here, and guys, okay, originally he was supposed to talk about how he won the Writing Wizard contest, but he just told me that he already took the test and he got amazing scores, so we're going to talk about that. Ronaldo, welcome to IELTS Energy.
Thank you, Jessica. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
This is so exciting. Okay, Ronaldo, tell us, what were your most recent IELTS scores?
Yes, my overall score was 8, and I got 8.5 for both reading and listening, and 7.5 for the writing and for the speaking parts.
Okay, that's amazing. And that's higher than what you needed, right?
Yes, I needed 7 actually for each one of the domains. So I got a score that was above each one of the domains. I reached a score that was more than I expected and I needed.
That's incredible. Yeah. Now, was that the first time you took the exam?
Actually not. I had overcome some problems. My scores were right for most of the domains, but the first 3 attempts I had in the IELTS exam, I got 6.5 in the writing part, and I got stuck in this score, so it was difficult to learn how to get a higher score for writing part specifically. I didn't had problems with, for example, the reading. I always got more than 8.
Okay.
On the reading part, and I can say that the reading part was always quite easy.
Okay.
This last time I finished the reading part 20 minutes before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though you had already got good reading scores, do you think that the 3 Keys strategies helped you to do that even faster?
Yes, I tried first the IELTS without the program, the course online.
Okay.
And my first two attempts were the traditional versions, the paper-based test. And the fact is that I'm a doctor, and I started to have problems, specifically the writing part with the handwriting. You know, doctors have these problems.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. So you
Yeah.
have the stereotypical impossible to read doctor writing.
Yes, unfortunately, this year, some centers here in São Paulo, Brazil, started to offer the computer-based test. So that was the solution for my case.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
after the first attempt, I started to do the plan you have suggested with the course. And by doing that, I certainly achieved more as an overall score, and also helped me in the writing part as well.
Okay, I got it. So you took the exam the first time and it was paper-based. And then you got into the course and you took another paper-based one and then you switched to the computer.
Yes, you are right. Completely right.
Okay, got it. Now, we've had a lot of students asking about the computer version recently, and I would like to sort of pick your brain about that. As far as the listening goes, do you feel like there is a significant difference on the listening comparing the paper and the computer version?
Certainly. I think so, because my scores increased a lot after I started to do the computer-based test. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You use headphones, which helps. Yes, which helps a lot, and you can isolate your sounds, and you can control the volume of sounds as well in your computer.
Right.
So that's a difference. And
that's a huge difference. Like that really does make a big difference. I know I worked in a test center once here in Portland, actually. There are 2 IELTS centers in Portland, and one of them is in a school that is like really old. And I swear the walls are so thin, you could hear the audio from another classroom. It was horrible. I felt so sorry for students having to take the test there. Okay, so computer version versus paper version. Listening is the winner for computer. Okay, awesome. Now reading. I think, to my mind, reading is the biggest difference as far as what kind of strategies we can use, right? Because so much of the 3 Keys IELTS strategies is being active with your pencil, right? Like underlining stuff and circling things. So how did that work on the computer version for reading?
The first time I tried the computer-based test, I felt that I had this problem you are mentioning. So, yes, of course, it's difficult to make notes, but the second time I developed an approach that was different and helped a lot, and I achieved the highest score until now. In the second time, the computer-based, because I started to write keywords and ideas related to each one of the paragraphs in a paper.
So even though you're on the computer version, you still have some paper you could take notes on?
Yes, you can ask more paper if you need.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it helps a lot.
So tell us how that works with the reading. What are you taking notes on?
Yes, as I said, I completed the test 20 minutes before, and I read everything. So, although I know that the problem is to complete the reading, and there are a lot of stuff there, and different ideas and different tests, but Actually, I was scanning and also screening each one of the paragraphs and just taking notes of keywords, for example, names, dates, and also the main idea, each one of the paragraphs
Okay.
separated. It helps a lot when you have this kind of exercise that you need to enumerate each one of the paragraphs according to a number or a letter.
Hello, awesome podcast listeners. If you want to become a 3-Key student and learn the simplest, most effective strategies, just like Ronaldo, remember, sign up with these special links and you also get a bonus. Go to allearsenglish.com/basic or allearsenglish.com/coach. Okay, I got it. Oh, that's great advice. Yeah, I mean, there has been an explosion recently in the number of students taking the computer version. So this is super useful. Okay. So would you say though that the strategies you learned in 3-Keys IELTS for listening and reading that they were still useful on the computer version?
Yes, because the basics, all the strategies you offer in the course, they are the basis for the development I had tried before. And afterwards, I always achieved a higher score, and the score became better actually after completing the course, for sure.
Oh, awesome. Okay. That's good to hear. Lindsay and I are in a planning phase now for coming up with an additional course just for the computer-based version. So test takers out there, stay tuned. Keep your eye out for that. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's move on to the speaking. Now, speaking is exactly the same. You're not talking to a computer. Tell us how you got that 7.5. Do you have any special strategies or tips for the future test takers?
Well, sometimes it's different. I know that this is personal, but some people say that the first part of the speaking is easier, and they are simple questions, and you don't need to use more than 2 or 3 sentences to answer each one of the questions. But in my opinion, the examiner expects more from you since the beginning.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why in 3-Keys IELTS, we tell you, even in speaking part 1, like your goal is 3 to 5 sentences.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the rule of thumb. Okay, that's a really good note.
Yes, and since the beginning of the speaking part, I started with a sentence more complex to impress the examiner.
Nice.
And also I try to use idioms, expressions, and feel comfortable with the language. This is the most important thing. The writing part.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. But that's a really good point though about the importance of speaking part 1. You know the old saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's a really long saying. But I just heard it in an advertisement yesterday, so we still use it. But this is true. I mean, you want to start with a bang. Like you don't want to put the examiner in the mind of a 6 in part 1 and have to prove them wrong, right? Like you want to start good, start well. Okay, that's awesome. Are there any, would you say that any strategies from the course like changed the way you approached the speaking exam?
Yeah. I think the plan is very important. I don't think that even if you have a very high level, an expert level regarding the language, if you don't follow a plan, a strategy since the beginning for each one of the parts, you can't do it. You can't achieve your score more than 7 or at least 7.
That's true.
That's important. The course gives you very straightforward manner of solving the problems during the test. So that's very important.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that point about the plan is, I mean, that is one of the strongest advantages of the whole system. It's those simple, few page documents, the 30-day study plan and the 60-day study plan that put you on the path to success, right? Because there are so many things you have to do to prepare for the test. You have to be reading these things and listening to those things and also doing test practice and learning vocab. So being able to organize your time to accomplish all of those tasks is difficult to do on your own, I think. It's really hard, especially like you said, if you want higher than a 7, like you need to be real organized with your time. Okay, so let's get to this enormous increase of writing. Now, you mentioned the handwriting thing was a challenge at first, right? But that can't be the only thing that held you at the 6.5. I mean, it might have played a part, but as an examiner, I can tell you that us examiners, we're all teachers as well. Like we are really good at reading bad handwriting. It's really hard for us to mark you down because of handwriting. I never did in 14 years, never did that once. So if you reflect on what you worked on, what you practiced, what do you think was the key ingredient there to go from that 6.5 to that 7.5?
The truth is that my writing was never really bad. Vocabulary, even the variety of grammar structures were okay, good. And cohesion and coherence, it's very important to pay attention in the criteria you have. Yes. That's very important when you are learning and practicing. It's very important to look and get feedback. For the writing, it's impossible to improve without good feedback. And I had problems until the third time I tried the test in the task achievement, actually.
Yes.
So escaping from the question, learning to focus more on the specific parts of the question. It's very common to be fixed in your ideas.
Totally.
And there's a problem, actually, in my case.
I think also what happens often with students like you who come in at a high level is that you read the question, especially the task 2 question, well, task 1 as well, but you read the question quickly because you are accustomed to understanding, right? Because you're comfortable with the language. And when you read the question quickly, you miss stuff, like you miss little words that are actually really important to include in your essay, right? So that's very easy to do. And like you said, this idea of being comfortable with the language, it gives you a sort of false sense of confidence in like, well, I could just write about anything. I'll be fine. When really it is all about the criteria. Yeah. I mean, if you're a high level native speaker, near native, you can get 9s in vocab and grammar for sure. But that's only half of your score. The cohesion, coherence, the task achievement is so specific to IELTS. What the examiner looks for is weird sometimes. And if you don't know that, there's no way you could get a high score.
For sure. Without a very good task achievement, you can't achieve a good score for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So how much would you say you practiced writing before you took the test?
I practiced a lot because after the third attempt, actually, I felt that was not my forte.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great phrase. Let me point that out quickly. So not my forte. Forte is Latin, I believe, for strength. So, but it's a great English phrase to say not my forte. It means it's my weakness. It's not my strength. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So I decided to focus on the writing and I started to write every day. I just woke up And the first thing the day was writing at least one
Awesome.
essay, followed by task 1 activity as well.
Nice.
And the problem is that always I wrote more than 300 words. Even in the last time in which I achieved 7.5, I wrote 320 words.
Oh my God.
In the test 2. Yeah, that was a problem, but actually, finally, I can say that during the last 4 months, I completed more than 50 essays.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's tons. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I asked that question is because I want students to know how much work it takes.
Yeah.
People are always asking, like, how do I raise my writing score? I can't get above a 6. I can't get above a 6.5. And in a lot of the students we've had on the show recently who got great writing scores, same as you, they wrote like 50 essays, 60 essays, I mean, taking in the lessons and the strategies and what the examiner wants, that's only part of the equation. It's so much. It's so much information to understand and assimilate. You really have to practice a lot. Okay. So I'm glad you said you practiced a lot. That was the answer I was hoping for.
Yeah, the truth is, actually, in the end, you don't have time to think, and you are very anxious during the test. If you're not very well trained to do that very well automatically, you can't do it properly, actually.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. I totally agree. Okay, fantastic. So guys, if you want to experience the same sense of ultimate preparation as Ronaldo did, you can also be a 3 Keys student, and you get that bonus for being a podcast listener for the speaking exam, this whole special lesson just for you guys. So go to allearsenglish.com/basic for the course, or allearsenglish.com/coach. And then you also get those lessons from me. Okay, Ronaldo, what an amazingly delightful surprise to hear that you got such amazing scores and to get to talk to you about it today. This is just fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you very much, and good luck to all your students.
Awesome, Ronaldo. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the IELTS Energy podcast from All Ears English. And if you want to get tips from Lindsay and Jessica every week on how to get a 7 on your next IELTS exam, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your computer or on your smartphone. Thanks again, and see you soon.